Operation Epic Fury.
Tonight, the Iran story just entered a whole new phase, and the biggest obstacle to a Trump deal may not be Tehran anymore. It may be Washington. President Trump still applying maximum pressure, still hitting Iranian assets when American forces are threatened, and still squeezing the regime where it hurts. But now he's turning his fire on Republicans and media figures he believes are weakening America's hand right as the finish line comes into view. If you recall, just last week when President Trump entered the Situation Room, something happened. The entire deal was sidelined. There was a disruption. And now we're learning what may have happened in that Situation Room. And that tells you something huge. You see, the White House is acting like concessions are real, the regime is wobbling, and the deal is close. So why is Trump suddenly telling his own side to back off? Now here's why this matters. For months, the story was simple. Iran attacked shipping-backed terror proxies, played games with negotiations, and tested whether the Trump administration would blink. Instead, President Trump answered with force, sanctions, tougher terms, and zero Obama-style cash pallets. CENTCOM struck Iranian radar and drone command sites after American assets were targeted. Iran lashed out towards Kuwait. A suspected Iranian naval mine turned up in Omani waters, wrecking Tehran's excuses about security in the Strait of Hormuz. The Houthis reportedly shot down an American MQ-9 drone. Iranian hackers even appear to be pushing propaganda through a U.S. military-linked social account that they hacked. This is not a regime acting from strength. This is a regime under pressure and firing in every single direction. And now comes the most important development of all. Trump's language has changed. He's still tough, but he's no longer talking like a man preparing for endless escalation. He's talking like a deal maker, closing a transaction and warning everyone around him not to blow it up at the last minute. And while Washington tries to sort out war, peace, and leverage overseas, there's another system right here at home that confuses Americans on purpose. Now pay attention, because if you or someone in your family is on Medicare, this directly affects your wallet. See, Medicare, it's confusing by design. The mailers, the robocalls, the fine print, the commercials, it's all built to keep you overwhelmed so you pick a plan and never look at it again. See, that's the Medicare confusion industrial complex. And seniors are paying for it without even realizing it. Chapter Medicare is simple by design. One call, one advisor, and they compare plans based on your doctors, your prescriptions, and your needs, not some script from a call center. People who switch can save an average of $1,100 a year. So don't guess. Call Chapter Medicare at 910-728-4109. That's the number you see right there on the screen. And get real help from someone who actually works for you. Because whether it's foreign policy or Medicare confusion, it always helps the middlemen. Clarity helps the American people. Now, back to the bombshell, because this is where the story gets very interesting. President Trump just publicly called out what he described as unpatriotic Republicans for chirping about the Iran talks. Think about that. He's not mainly warning Iran, he's warning the people here at home who could sabotage the close. At the same time, reports say Iran's own president has tried to resign after being cut out of major decisions. So on one side, Trump is trying to hold his coalition together. On the other, Tehran may be cracking from within. That's not random noise. That's the deal phase. So President Trump has just reversed a planned Israeli invasion of troops into Lebanon after a call to Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu. Trump called Hezbollah and got them to stop. We're learning here, President Trump, there will be no troops going into Beirut.
Hezbollah launched more than 50 rockets into northern Israel as Israeli ground forces push deeper into southern Lebanon. This morning, Israeli Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu ordered the IDF to strike the Lebanese capital of Beirut, specifically the Dahya neighborhood, a Hezbollah stronghold. Since that announcement, thousands have fled the area in this part of Beirut in cars and on foot.
There will not be a situation where Hezbollah attacks our cities and our citizens and its terror headquarters in Beirut and the Dahya remain out of bounds.
Iranian officials still trying to tie the situation in Lebanon to a broader agreement with the United States. Bill?
Trey, one of the questions I get the most over the weekend was why it's so difficult.
So President Trump making it clear there will be no boots on the ground in Beirut, and any troops that are on their way have already been turned back. Likewise, through highly placed representatives, I have a very good call with Hezbollah. They agreed that all shooting will stop, that Israel will not attack them, and they will not attack Israel. So Trump moving fast to stop Beirut from becoming a wider war zone, but overnight Iran and the U.S. were still trading strikes. Now the question is whether Tehran is serious about a deal at all. And we'll have some breaking updates that I just got in from one of my sources. So let's take a look at this Good Morning America clip, and then we'll get that.
Good morning to you. The U.S. and Iran exchanging. Good morning to you. The U.S. and Iran exchanging even more fire over the weekend, raising questions about this fragile ceasefire, but also the state of these negotiations as talks now drag into another week. Iranian state TV releasing this video as the country says it launched missiles at U.S. military forces. Kuwait says it was intercepting incoming fire. It comes after U.S. Central Command says the Pentagon launched self-defense strikes on Iranian radar and command and control sites over the weekend, amid growing uncertainty over a peace deal. The president sitting down for an interview with his daughter-in-law, Lara Trump.
We're getting what we want slowly. Very tough negotiators. It takes a long time. I'm in no hurry.
Sources tell ABC News President Trump sent Iran changes to a proposed framework for the country to consider. But just a week ago, the president said the deal was already largely negotiated. President Trump laying out the terms of the potential agreement, saying Iran must agree to never obtain a nuclear weapon, turn over its remaining enriched uranium, and reopen the Strait of Hormuz. President Trump spent the weekend on the golf course, largely out of sight. On Friday, he huddled with top national security advisors in the Situation Room for 2 hours, saying he would make a final determination on a framework to extend the ceasefire and gradually reopen the Strait of Hormuz. This morning, Iranian state media is reporting the country's top officials are reviewing the president's proposals. The country's top negotiator casting doubt on how quickly a deal could come together, reportedly saying, quote, "Do not trust the enemy's words and promises." Complicating negotiations, Iran's insistence that the war end on all fronts, including Israel's massive ground operation in Lebanon. Israel now pushing further into the country than they have in 26 years as they fight Iranian-backed Hezbollah. Capturing Beaufort Castle, nestled on a strategic mountaintop, the Israeli flag now flying above its walls. Israeli strikes have devastated Lebanon. The country's health ministry says more than 3,400 people have been killed since March, with over 10,000 wounded. And of course, the economic toll continues to hit Americans here at home with these high gas prices. But the president still insists he is in no rush to make a deal. Late overnight, he posted on social media telling critics to sit back and relax, saying it will all work out in the end, George.
And of course, we know the president has repeatedly declared that once this conflict is over, gas prices will be lower than they were before. So you saw the pressure points, the missiles, the counterstrikes, Trump refusing to be rushed. Now here's Trump's own message. Talks with Iran are still moving and moving fast. This is what he posted on Truth Social. Talks are continuing at a rapid pace with the Islamic Republic of Iran. Thank you for your attention to this matter, President Donald J. Trump. And then I got this. This just in, Iran stops negotiations with U.S. vows completely block the Strait of Hormuz. Iranian negotiators will stop exchanging messages with the U.S. through intermediaries, and Tehran will move to fully close the strait in retaliation for ongoing ceasefire violations. Iran's state-affiliated news outlet Tasnim said on Monday. The report in a translated post on a social media site, Telegram, homes in on Israel's military operations in Lebanon against the Iran-backed militia Hezbollah. No dialogue will take place until Israel fully withdraws from occupied areas in Lebanon and stops all attacks on both Lebanon and Gaza. As we just reported, President Trump has successfully de-escalated that situation. So given that red line that was posed by Iran, it appears that perhaps we will see these talks continue as the president has declared. So with the negotiations rolling along, Trump's also torching the propaganda machine around them, unloading on CNN for trying to paint Iran's Navy like some kind of powerhouse. President Trump exposing CNN for being traitors. CNN's Iran Navy is strong. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the ocean, President Trump posting to Truth Social, Iran's Navy is strong. Meanwhile, at the bottom of the ocean, President Trump posting, mocking Iran's so-called naval strength for a reason. Now there's fresh evidence out of the Strait of Hormuz, a suspected Iranian mine in Omani waters that could blow another hole in Tehran's story. A suspected mine spotted, an Iranian naval mine. Looks like a Maham 3 Iranian mine carrying roughly 300 kilograms of explosives. That's a serious problem for Tehran's position. The U.S. struck Iranian boats laying mines in Hormuz this week, and Iran has been claiming the deal would have Oman help manage the strait. An Iranian mine drifting in Omani waters undercuts both the safety case and the partnership that Tehran wanted. It also hands Washington more justification for the transit regime U.S. NAVCENT that has just been announced. So there you can see the mine in the water right there below the surface. Terrifying. 300 kilograms of explosives. So the mine sighting makes Iran look even more reckless in one of the world's most critical waterways. Now Secretary Rubio takes it straight to the global stage, warning the UN to condemn Tehran or prove it's totally useless. This was when Rubio hosted the press briefing just a few weeks ago.
Slight adjustments to the language, but I don't know if it'll avoid a veto or not, but the language isn't very complicated. And I think it's a real test for the UN, right? As a function, as something that functions that can solve global problems. What is the purpose of the UN? The UN was supposed to be a place where you could peacefully resolve global conflict. Right now you have a country who is unlawfully, criminally, and illegally taking possession of an international waterway and blowing up commercial vessels and putting mines in the water. I don't know if people appreciate like how outrageous this is, how unacceptable it is that any country would fire and try to sink commercial vessels or put mines in the water. Both of these things are illegal. And so we're going to take it to the UN, and we're going to give it another chance to be a forum in which we're not even asking people to like commit troops to the region and help blow up the Iranian boats. All we're asking them to do is to condemn it, to call on Iran to stop blowing ships, to remove these mines, and to allow humanitarian relief to come through because there's humanitarian aid that's trapped. That's it. This is a very modest request. And if you're telling me that the international community and hundreds of countries cannot rally behind that, then I don't know what the utility of the UN system is if it can't even solve something as straightforward as that. And I think to both the Chinese and the Russians, I would argue and have argued that it is in their interest for that resolution to pass and for pressure to be brought on Iran, because it is in their interest not to see international waterways, including the Straits of Hormuz, be closed down and cause economic chaos to dozens and dozens of countries around the world. Okay.
Secretary Rubio says the world should have no trouble condemning a regime that's mining shipping lanes. Meanwhile, Iran's dirty playbook isn't stopping at sea. Now there are signs its hackers hit a top U.S. Space Force account with propaganda. Iranian hackers appear to have breached the Instagram account of the Chief Master Sergeant of the U.S. Space Force, using it to post Iranian propaganda, including a Vietnam-era psychological warfare broadcast by Hanoi Hannah. Okay, so Iranian hackers, congratulations. You hacked an Instagram account. I'm sure that was really difficult. I'm guessing the password, right? So it's not just missiles and mines. Tehran pushing cyber warfare too, and that pressure builds. The Houthis have now reportedly shot down an American MQ-9 Reaper drone carrying out a recon mission. Okay, so you shot down a drone, guys. Congratulations. We've got more. So after the reported takedown, the economic front is moving too. Iran trying to reroute oil to China by rail, a workaround meant to dodge the maritime pressure. Iran shifting oil exports via railways for low prices. this could crash the price of oil. So Iran may be looking for escape routes with discounted oil, but Trump's answer is still force backed by leverage. CENTCOM strikes hit Iranian targets, and the White House makes clear the deal will be on America First terms. Gunter Eagleman writes, America just reminded Iran who's in charge. CENTCOM confirmed U.S. forces hammered multiple Iranian targets over the weekend, taking out radar systems and drone command centers after they shot down a $4 million American drone. President Trump made clear Iran wants a deal, but it's going to be a good one for the U.S. No pallets of cash, no weak Obama-style surrender.
But the president says that Iran still wants to make a deal as the fragile ceasefire remains on edge.
So Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst is live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. CENTCOM says U.S. forces conducted strikes against multiple Iranian targets over the weekend. The strikes hit Iranian radar systems and command and control centers for drones in Gulrak, Iran, along the coast and on Keshem Island. CENTCOM described the action as defensive in nature to prevent Iran from attacking international shipping lanes and after Iran shot down a $4 million U.S. drone. The Iranians responded by targeting Kuwait with drones and missiles early this morning. Overnight, President Trump posted to Truth Social saying, in part, Iran really wants to make a deal and it will be a good one for the USA and those that are with us. Iran's parliament speaker and top negotiator Mohammad Ghalibaf said this on Sunday about the ongoing talks.
What matters to us are the tangible achievements we must obtain in order to undertake our own commitments in return. And until we are certain that we have secured the rights of the Iranian nation, we will not approve any agreement.
We're also tracking developments in the conflict between Israel and Iran's largest proxy, Hezbollah, over the weekend.
So that's the split screen right now. Military pressure on one side, hard-nosed negotiations on the other. And Trump says the biggest problem isn't just Iran, it's the Republicans at home who keep chirping and undercutting him. President Trump now calling out Republicans who keep chirping against the deal. Don't let the Democrats and various seemingly unpatriotic Republicans understand that this is much tougher for me to properly do my job and negotiate when political hacks keep negatively chirping at levels never seen before over and over again that I should move faster or move slower or go to war or not go to war or whatever. Just sit back and relax. It'll all work out. In the end, it always does. So President Trump posting that.
And raise the white flag of surrender. We give up to the great American military, the most powerful military. We give up, we give up, we give up. The New York Times would say, Iran has fought bravely and has defeated the United States of America. I mean, the coverage is so bad. You have a big win in a battle, and they say you lost. You knock out their entire Navy, and they say their Navy's doing fantastically. No, it was defeated, totally defeated. And they say, it's just a terrible thing for our country. And, you know, to really be great, you need a fair media, and we don't have a fair media. I mean, that's all they can do is lie.
Well, that's
they
the
have
Democrats.
No policy.
They have nothing to go on.
They're Democrats, okay?
Yeah.
They have no policy. We have a new name for them, you know, Democrats.
We have a new name for them. So Trump's calling out the rhinos and the media hacks trying to box him in on the deal. Now we get the hard timeline from CENTCOM. Iranian missiles at Kuwait, followed by U.S. strikes on radar and drone command. OSINT technical, 600 local time. Iran carries out ballistic missile attack on Kuwait, likely targeting U.S. forces in response to the next event. So here's some of the video from that. So the CENTCOM decal show exactly how this administration answers. Next, Trump points the finger where it belongs, saying Obama's cash for terror weakness helped create this mess. Trump dropping truth nukes on Hussein Obama. Don't forget the one who funded Iran and caused this war to happen. President Trump not holding back.
Other presidents should have done this. 47 years they've been toying with these stupid people. In many cases, stupid people. This should have been done by Obama. He went the other way. He was giving them cash. He sent plane loads of Boeing 757, took the seats out, and put green cash, $1.7 billion in the plane. Every bank in Virginia, D.C., and Maryland was stripped of their cash. They took out all the cash from the banks. They put it into a plane, a Boeing 757 packed with cash, and they flew it to Iran, and they let these guys just, I don't know what the hell they did with it, but they took it, and then gave them billions and billions of dollars, and bribed them basically to be friends. And after giving them tens of billions of dollars, they screwed Obama, okay? That's not the way we play. No, we do it the old-fashioned way. And they should wave. They're very proud. Maybe you won't see a white flag, but essentially that's already what they are.
It's still unbelievable when you think about what Obama did with those pallets of cash. And look where we are now. So Trump says this crisis grew out of years of weak appeasement from Obama and Biden. Now the pressure inside Tehran may be breaking the regime itself. Reports that Iran's president wants out after losing authority. Fox reports that Iran's president reportedly asked to resign, citing a loss of authority inside the country's ruling system. According to reports, Mossad Pezeshkian told the Supreme Leader's office that he and his government have been excluded from major decision-making, leaving him unable to fulfill his responsibility. The reported resignation comes amid growing signs of internal power struggles within the regime and as the U.S. continues negotiations with Tehran. So what does it all really mean? It means that Trump's pressure campaign appears to have worked so well that the battlefield is now political. It's not just military. The White House seems to believe Iran is making material concessions and that the regime is fractured and that the public grandstanding from Washington could reduce American leverage right before the final signature. That's why Trump is drawing such a hard contrast with Obama and the former Biden administration. They negotiated first and gave ground first. Trump hit first, squeezed first, and only then moved towards terms. Even his reported intervention with Israel and Hezbollah fits that pattern. Strength first, then de-escalation on America's terms. And if Iran's president is truly sidelined inside his own system, that tells you the regime is not unified. It's stressed, it's divided under President Trump's thumb. So the real question tonight is no longer whether President Trump can pressure Iran. He already has. The military actions, the maritime pressure, the sanctions posture, and the collapsing credibility of the regime all point in the same direction. America's back in charge, and the mullahs know it. The question now is whether Trump can finish the deal while holding off the usual saboteurs, the media, the globalist crowd, the weak-kneed Republicans, and every Democrat who would rather see Trump fail than America win. See, that's the phase we are entering right now. And if this deal closes on Trump's terms, history will remember exactly what created it. Strength, not appeasement. Pressure, not pallets of cash. America first, and not America last. If you agree that President Trump should ignore the chirping and just finish this from a position of strength, share this video. Subscribe to our channel and drop your answer below. Yes or no, should Republicans fall in line and let Trump just close the deal? Let's have a conversation about this. And I want to make sure that you get the news when you ask for it. That's why I set up this secret number just for you. Thousands of patriots have already texted the words raw feed to 844-840-4963. They're already bypassing the algorithmic suppression of our work, and they're getting the notifications direct from me to their phone every single night. And since we're in the 250th year of our great republic, celebrate with us. Check out the Next News merch shelf below this video and find something. Let's celebrate together.
The system controls information. Information control is power. They don't want you to see this. The truth only survives together. They don't want this. Share this now.